You said 30 billion, like you sneeze and that comes out in traditional markets. You're going to see it go slowly crabbing along. And then all at once, vertical. Tokenized markets are just better markets. Once you cross that liquidity threshold where I can trade either one, I need to trade the tokenized asset. Markets are going to completely tokenize in the coming years. I don't understand this like $5 trillion number that Citi throws out, because to me, it's going to trot along and then all of a sudden everything tokenizes. Back in the day, Bund futures, they were traded in the pit, and guys much taller than me would be, fighting over bid and offer. And then Deutsche Börse, behind the scenes, Eurex developed electronification. And then all of a sudden that liquidity is shifted across. Institutions are so scared right now. Tokenization is electronification 2.0.
What's going on, everybody? Kevin Cage back with another crypto update. I hope everybody's doing well, and happy 4th to everybody that celebrated yesterday. We have a lot to go over in today's video. I also need to make sure that I correct myself on discussing the lending protocol to get the most up-to-date information. Now, let's get right into it, because we kicked today's video off sharing this clip, and this was uploaded directly by Franklin Templeton. So this gentleman is Christopher Perkins, who is head of Franklin Crypto. And for those that don't know, Franklin Templeton is large. We can see their AUM as of May, just a couple months back, was $1.7 trillion. So what's interesting is they actually shared a clip directly from their interview with Genfinity and King Solomon Orion, and both of these accounts are absolute must-follows. So if you listen to this clip that I played in the beginning of this video, this guy Perkins basically draws an analogy of years ago, there were German government bond futures, and they used to trade in a pit. So we had a bunch of grown men fighting over prices and bids, and then we had Deutsche Börse build the electronic version. And just like he says, we can see tokenization is electronification 2.0. So we had Deutsche Börse build the electronic version, and liquidity, it didn't slowly migrate over decades. It cramped along, or trotted along like he said, and then in a matter of 18 months in the late 90s, all of it moved. So it was slowly, and then all at once. So let's think of an analogy to understand all of this better. Let's think about Blockbuster and Netflix and renting DVDs. So eventually streaming, it hit that point where streaming was better. A lot of devices supported it. We had internet connections that were able to actually stream. Technology grew. And once streaming was clearly better than renting DVDs, nobody rented DVDs. The switch was complete. So that is the literal liquidity threshold that this guy is talking about. And just emphasizing that once a tokenized version of a stock, a bond, a real-world asset, once it is liquid, it's trading 24/7, it settles in seconds, and you can buy a fraction of it. The old version in traditional finance isn't needed anymore, and it's not just worse, it even costs you money to stay in and use the old version. So that is the liquidity threshold. Slowly, and then all at once. And I thought it was interesting in this clip that he kind of critiques what Citi says, and they predict the tokenized securities market will grow to $5.5 trillion by 2030. And this came out last month, so this is relatively recent. We have other ones. We have right here by Forbes, the tokenized asset market is $60 billion. Most of it is not moving. And this was literally 3 days ago. And then of course we have some older predictions, so this was from 2024 by Standard Chartered. So we have $30 trillion tokenized real-world asset market by 2034. And then of course we had this one from 2025 with Ripple and BCG of $18.9 trillion. And don't even get me started on RWA.XYZ. So right here we can see for distributed asset value, let me zoom in, we have 32 billion, and then for represented asset value we have 140 billion. So we have numbers in all directions, and just so you know, Forbes says 60 billion, we have RWA.XYZ saying 140 billion for represented value, and then we have the distributed value that is actually on the blockchain assets that are transferred instead of just a fancy ledger. So what number are we actually looking for tokenized asset value? And honestly, nobody really knows. All the smartest people in finance can't even agree on how to measure it yet. So whether we're at 30 billion or 60 billion like Forbes said, or even 140 billion of represented value by RWA.XYZ, it's still an absolute drop in the bucket when you're discussing the potential. And keep in mind, these are predictions. Nobody knows the actual potential. And it's really a drop in the bucket when you're comparing it to the market cap of gold at 29 trillion or even companies $151 trillion versus crypto, which is just at 2 trillion today. So do I personally agree with this guy? Absolutely. For me, because I've just read so much and I've been in the trenches for so long, it's not a matter of if blockchain and crypto is going to change the financial system. To me, it's just a matter of when. And yeah, it's not an easy ride by any means. And even tying in the Clarity Act, because this is the most important legislation that we have for the crypto asset class. We had SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce say that she expects the Clarity Act to pass the full Senate this summer. So basically, we have the Senate coming back on July 13th with about 20 working days before the August recess. So what I'm hoping for, let's talk best case and worst case. What I'm hoping for is we get a nice surprise into late July and even into August. If not, and it goes past recess, the unfortunate part, guys, without sugarcoating it, is we couldn't see the Clarity Act come about or come to be until 2027. So this is, without a doubt, the biggest catalyst or delay that we could see, because this, the Clarity Act, would literally be regulatory clarity, and just like Christopher Perkins over at Franklin Templeton is describing, I mean, this is literally the dam. If the rules pass, hopefully sooner than later, and delays can absolutely happen, that would open the doors, or open the floodgates. So yeah, a lot is resting on this, not financial advice. We don't know how this comes to pass, but do I believe this goes through in the future? Yes, I just hope it's a lot sooner than later, and it doesn't get pushed back until 2027. So once again, nothing in this video is financial advice. I personally believe the Clarity Act, or something like it, has to get passed in the future. There is so much pressure on institutions, tokenization is not stopping, and we need clarity. Other nations or jurisdictions are getting further ahead, so there is just a lot of pressure. So I don't see a scenario where this doesn't go through. I maybe see scenarios of delays and going, fixing things, but this has to go through. All right, now we are on XRP Scan. You can go to xrpscan.com, you can click amendments, and then you can see this page. So we can see that there are 35 validators on the XRP ledger, and for these amendments to pass or go live on the XRP ledger, basically like a law of the blockchain, they need to reach a threshold of 28 out of 35 validators voting yes and maintaining that vote for 2 weeks. And once it does, then it becomes enabled and it goes live on the XRP ledger. So right now we have the single asset vault XLA 65 and then the lending protocol XLA 66. So we can open these up directly and we can see that we are nowhere near 28 yeses. We have 8 yeses out of 27. Now we can even go down to 1 month, and yes, we have had some recent yeses, which is good. We have a long way to go, and then we can look at the same thing for the single asset vault. So we're at 9 yeses and 26 nos. And doing the same thing, just looking at 1 month, we did get some recent yeses. And why I'm showing you this is because in the last video, I know I said these things could take weeks or a few months, but I don't think it was accurate for me to say that it's coming soon because we need to actually reach and hold that threshold for 2 weeks. So we are at 9 yeses compared to 28 is what we need. Now, at the same time, there is a lot of evidence on why, as the fixes get implemented, that this goes through in the future, because Ripple and RippleX built the code, they did the $200,000 bug bounty attackathon, they did the audits. This is a big priority for them and the XRP ledger. So with Ripple and RippleX, you already know where they stand, but they can't force validators to vote yes. Obviously, that's the point of a decentralized system. It's not like a CEO is calling the shots. We need the threshold to actually reach 28 and be there for 2 weeks. But we know the goal of the XRP ledger for payments, liquidity, and then credit markets. In the lending protocol, other chains already have one, so this is the next evolution for XRP for DeFi and RWAs. And even Evernorth, the huge treasury company holding, a boatload of XRP, they even said and publicly announced that they want to leverage this exact protocol, XLA 66. So really, the main gate right now is just waiting for this fix cleanup 320 to go through, and then once this goes through, that opens the doors for 65 and 66 to pass. So the TLDR is that the audit found fixes, and all of those fixes are right inside of this fix cleanup 320. And the thing to understand about amendments, they are permanent, so there's no undo button you can do once they're live, and that's a big reason why validators, they want to have all the patches live before they switch on lending. So once this cleanup fix goes through and is approved, the reason to vote no is completely gone. So that's what we're waiting for. Alright, let's finish up today's video with a few other side notes. So we had this shared today by Travala, we have XRP was built to move value fast, and now we can book over 2 million hotels worldwide with XRP on Travala. instant confirmation, no banks involved. In the next video, I might go over this recent IMF report going over tokenization. This just came out 3 days ago. And we have a really interesting write-up with Keyrock, Bitso, and even Jack McDonald that I want to dive into, and the company Ripple, of course. Even going back to older tweets I made with Ripple receiving the conditional approval for this Ripple National Trust Bank, I mean, realistically, this could get approved in the next 12 months, so we are still in the waiting phase. But remember what Christopher Perkins even said about the tokenization of markets in the future.
Markets are going to completely tokenize in the coming years. I don't understand this like $5 trillion number that Citi throws out, because to me, it's going to trot along and then all of a sudden everything tokenizes.
And then we have to consider the other current catalysts like the Clarity Act. And you guys know where I stand. I am a long-term believer no matter what. I set what I can and forget about it, and hold it long-term, because I want long-term exposure. We're either right or we're wrong. If I'm right, the payoff is big. And the thing about me, not financial advice, I'm already convinced. I've been in crypto since 2017. It has been an absolute wild ride. And if you hold crypto over the long term, please consider having a Roth IRA so that all of it grows 100% tax-free. So I've had my Roth with iTrust since January of 2020. Hands down, highly recommended. I am a user of the platform, and this is linked in the video description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you could hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and I will catch you in the next one.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash the like button and let me know your thoughts down below. You can find all links to my crypto resources, including tools for charting, trading bots, wallets, portfolio trackers, and exclusive discounts right in my link tree in the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.